Rogers. Welcome back to my channel. Regardless, I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jessica Vanell, and I'm really opinionated.
And today it's Tuesday, meaning it's apple picking day. If you have no idea what that is, I'll tell you a little bit. Every week people go on my subreddit, r/AmITheBadApple, and people send in stories of situations where people don't know if they acted appropriately or not. We read the story, we give our opinions. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, sometimes you guys agree or disagree with us. It all depends. We all have different life experiences and we've all experienced different things that give us different perspectives on life. And that's okay. We learn from each other through conversation.
Exactly.
But without further ado, let's get started with this week's episode of Am I the Bad Apple? Let's go apple picking! Apple number 1. Am I the bad apple for buying my girlfriend's plane ticket? My girlfriend and I have been arguing about this, so I need some opinions and advice here. We've been together for 5 years and are currently long distance and have been for the past year. Normally, she visits me and I pay for the hotel or the Airbnb and she pays for her own transportation over, whether that's Amtrak or plane or whatever she feels at the time. Anyways, I've recently come into some financial difficulty, but we've been planning a small getaway trip for Valentine's Day next month. My girlfriend said since the hotels and Airbnb cost way more than plane tickets that she'll just go ahead and cover that cost and I can pay for the plane tickets. I was grateful, and after she picked out a really nice resort for us to stay, I went ahead and bought her ticket. Cue arguing. She's upset because the plane ticket I bought has a layover. She's mad because she's going to, in her own words,
be stuck in an airplane in an airport for 12 hours.
Apparently because I cheaped out and didn't buy her a direct flight. She also said that I know she's terrified of planes and now I'm making her take 4 instead of 2 or a round trip. Now she doesn't even want the ticket anymore and says she's just gonna cancel the trip entirely or buy her own plane ticket. I'm at a loss for words. I didn't know she would act this entitled. On the other hand though, I do feel like I'm a little bit of a jerk because she has told me before that she hates layovers, but I mean, I saved $100 on this ticket. The layover's only about 4 to 5 hours, and in total, I guess the trip is 12, but for $100, I think that she should be able to suck it up. So, am I the bad apple?
So my opinion of this, number 1, he's in a bad financial position. You gave him the opportunity to buy the ticket. She didn't have to be that rude about it. Like, how dare you cheap out? Where it's like, she might have been able to say, oh, you know what? Is there any possibility you could go to the airline and see if you could find a flight that doesn't have a layover, because I would prefer that. But he communicated that he's in a bad financial position. Mm-hmm. She, gave him the power to book the ticket. That's on him, but at the same time, why couldn't they just book it together?
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking of. She said, hey, I got this hotel, here's the dates, I'm gonna book it. He never ran the purchase of the tickets by her. So she clearly, she was like, hey, I found this hotel, this is the resort, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna book it. I'm assuming that he's communicating that she ran it by him. He never ran the tickets by her. And yes, he is in a financial position, but for me, he knows his financial position and he still chose, I'm gonna go on this trip. And she even offered, hey, I know that you're in this position. I'll take the expensive cost if you take the plane. I know she probably saved him hundreds of dollars. I'm that person. I'm about to give everyone so much anxiety right now. I'm aware of this. I'm that person that is like, oh, my plane starts boarding. I can arrive when the boarding time starts. Because I have pre-check, and I never really check bags. So I'm that person that's like, security's gonna take me what? 5 minutes. The most I've ever sat in security was 10 minutes.
Okay.
I've never missed my flight at this airport. So long story short, I still haven't learned my lesson and I despise sitting at airports. I don't want to sit there for any longer than I have to. 4 to 5 hours?
Of a layover?
No. I'm teetering between bad apple and crab apple.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely, I don't think there is any kind of, it's not a malicious, she's gonna be waiting at the airport. And I feel like he was very inconsiderate and a little irresponsible.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that, like, you are maliciously ruining someone's day. Like, he didn't think it would... I don't like that he called her entitled, though.
I know. I genuinely think this could have been avoided if they just sat down and booked it together. How hard is it to hop on FaceTime and have your phone there? And, or even just, like, be scrolling on a chat. Like, call them and be like, oh, hey, I found that this airline is going to be leaving at this time. It's this long of a layover. Are you okay with that? No? Okay, well, the other price is going to be like, negotiate.
Booking
now
together.
He feels like she's entitled. She feels like he's a cheapskate and doesn't care about her time and her effort.
And even she's like, you know what, I'm just gonna get my own ticket. I feel like he genuinely didn't think it was going to be a problem. And that's fine, I get that. Like sometimes guys are like, oh, this is worth the dollars that you save. And like, it's not, but like they genuinely think it's fine. I don't like that when she said, this isn't gonna work for me. That is not okay. I cannot believe you have me sitting at the airport that long. And it's not even just a dislike for sitting at the airport. She says that she's afraid of airplanes. That means a lot to me also. Like, I know people who, I have a friend, my friend Tal, is just afraid of big objects. So like planes freak him out, cruise ships freak him out.
It's kind of like when you go to the doctor's office and if you're having to sit there for an extra amount of time when you know that you're about to get something done that you really don't want to get done, it's the anticipation that kills you.
And she's gonna be sitting there for 4 hours, and I don't like how he knows that these are things that genuinely bother her, and instead of being like, oh, you right, let's fix this, he's like, wow, she was entitled about that. I don't like that.
No.
Because of that attitude of like not even reconsidering oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't think about the fear, I didn't, you know, my bad.
He went straight to, you're an entitled princess and I'm gonna go to
after she just offered to pay the expensive price so he doesn't have to. That bothers me a lot because people do have fears, whether it's just a fear or phobia, I don't know, we don't know, but those things are very real to the people who they affect. This is your girlfriend, you're going for an anniversary trip, you want her on the plane for 12 hours. Ugh. So I think I am gonna go with Bad Apple, specifically because how he reacted to it.
Yeah, because of the reaction.
Again, there were so many small steps that could have avoided the whole thing. And even just taking the time to listen to her complaints instead of just, oh, well, she's entitled.
Yeah, like, dude.
How much money did you save on the hotel stuff?
That you usually book.
Right. That just annoys me. That annoys me. Apple number 2. Am I the bad apple for skipping Christmas with my parents? I, female 27, have been with my boyfriend 33 for almost 2 years now, and we'll be getting married eventually, but it's just not a priority right now. My mom won't let us share a bed if we come to see them for any reason. When we came over last summer, my boyfriend suggested renting a hotel so that we could just have some privacy and have a comfortable bed together. It drove my mom nuts that we bypassed her little rule. She wouldn't drop it the entire time we were there, and she made me promise to not do it again. My boyfriend's mom and dad were retired to Mexico, and they're really chill. So we made plans to come see them over Christmas. They're not Christians, so they don't really care when they see their son regarding religious holidays, but why not? Let's go for Christmas. I didn't tell my parents we weren't coming for Christmas. My mom asked me at Thanksgiving if I was gonna hold my promise and not stay at a hotel over Christmas, and I answered truthfully that I wouldn't be staying at a hotel. Now I'm sitting here on the balcony of my future in-laws condo, looking at the Caribbean, waiting for sunrise and enjoying the peace and quiet. I made the mistake of going online yesterday and I saw a bunch of online posts from my mom and my sisters about how I was a jerk for lying to them about my Christmas plans. I may have been a little tipsy that night because I decided to respond. I said it was ridiculous of them to try and tell me that I couldn't share a room with my boyfriend, that I was keeping my promise by not staying at a hotel while we were there, and that if they planned on putting everything on Facebook, I would be avoiding all visits for the foreseeable future. They took their post down when people started crapping on them for trying to control me, but some of their friends were agreeing with them. Now they're texting and calling saying that I'm a jerk for making them look bad online. I asked them, were you trying to make me look good with your posts? They stopped it for a while, but there were more texts and voicemails the next morning. I'm kind of liking the idea of skipping out of the drama from now on, but I miss my dad, and he's really blameless in all this. So, am I the bad apple?
There are steps that could have been taken, and being a bit more honest about your plans. While you don't owe anyone anything, especially being 27 years old with a 33-year-old boyfriend, leading them to believe one thing and then turning around and doing another. Should they have gone to Facebook? Absolutely not. Should you have had an open conversation when you said, look, I am a 27-year-old woman with a 33-year-old boyfriend under your house. You know what? I get it. Your rules, you're paying the bills. If I want to go to a hotel, then that's my choice, and I can do that as an adult woman. I mean, good on you, sis, for staying in the Caribbean and enjoying your time with your in-laws. Like, yes, ma'am, go do that. But I wish that maybe you didn't have to, like, be a bit sneaky about that.
I didn't like that her mom specifically asked her about her plans. And what I do know about moms in the holidays is they prepare and they cook and they plan. And, you know, I don't think that her mom was right to be that controlling. You know, her house, her rules. If that's her thing, great. I also would go and stay in a hotel. Like, 20-something years old with a boyfriend I plan on staying with the rest of my life. Like, I'm old enough to go stay wherever I want. And that's my prerogative, you know? If those are your house rules, they can be your house rules, but I'm gonna go sit somewhere else. And I don't think it was right of the mom to try and control that aspect. No. I don't necessarily think that makes it right to make her mom believe she was coming in. Because she definitely did, like, her mom asked, when you come for Christmas, will you be staying in a hotel? She's like, no. She's answering the question, specifically leading her mom to believe that she will be there. It's not like she's even just not answering the question. Like, she is answering the question in a way that makes it look like she's going to be there. Like, to me, that's lying. Like, she's lying about it.
But then in the Facebook post, where it didn't sound like they were surprised that she didn't show up for Christmas, because I feel like that would have been a bigger issue.
No, it says
they're lying to them about her plans. So
right. Yeah. So, like, they were crapping her on Facebook for lying about the plans. Yeah. And I totally understand the Facebook friends who were like, you were trying to control her. But I'm not surprised that there were also people who were like, no, but she, like, lied about what the plans were. She just didn't show up for Christmas.
No.
And my family never did Christmas, but I would be afraid to tell Michelle, yeah, we're coming for the first night of Hanukkah. Like, we'll be there and just not show up. Like, that's rude. Yeah. That is so rude to me.
What I'm interested in this post is she's centering it around the fact that her mom doesn't want to allow her and her boyfriend to sleep in the same bed. That is the point. That's the overarching point she's making. Where we're going to is the point of she lied to her mom about Christmas plans. So when she says that her mom and her sister went on Facebook to complain about the fact that she lied about her plans, were they complaining about the fact that she didn't come to see them? Or were they complaining about the fact that she was sleeping in bed with her boyfriend? Because those are two very different things. If people are on Facebook bashing you for lying about coming to see them, right, that's one thing. If they're on Facebook bashing you simply for, you know, wanting to sleep in the same bed as your boyfriend, that's another. Or is it a mixture? And, like, were some people on the side of, like, well, you can't control every facet of, like, her wanting to, like, get a hotel room, but then also I can understand it being like, well, that was pretty not cool of her to sit there and lie about the fact that she was coming to visit. So, like,
all it says is that they were posting about how she was a jerk for lying to them about the plans, and that she responded. And she, I'm guessing, argued well, you won't let me stay. And so that's where people chimed in and were like, oh, you're, like, really trying to control your 20-something-year-old daughter.
Now I'm starting to question OP's framing of the situation.
It's hard because, you know, we only know what is in the post. It's so hard to not make assumptions, but at the end of the day, these are the only facts we have. But what's very telling to me is she frames the entire thing about, well, I'm doing this because of the bed thing, because of the bed thing, because of the bed thing. But when it comes to the Facebook post, she does say they were just mad on Facebook because I lied. But, and I know she tries to justify it with the bed thing, but she says they were just angry about her lying online.
Again, I'm just saying, like we are seeing in the post, she really did just make it seem like she was gonna see her family and then totally just skipped out that apple. Girl, no, because at this point you're framing this Reddit post to seem like it was just about the 2 beds when in reality it was about you not being honest.
And like, I totally think her justification for being upset about the beds is fine. Like, that's valid. That's okay. And if it was just I'm not going to Christmas because I can't stay here, that's fine.
Then
like,
communicate that.
Communicate. You can do whatever you want for the holidays. Just the way that she went about it, it was very sneaky, it was very deceitful, and she knew what she was doing, and she knew she was being deceitful. And for her to be upset that they were now like taking family drama to Facebook is the dumbest thing. Like, anytime I see people do that on Facebook, I'm just like, you forget the popcorn.
Well, because then it turned into a whole, well, you embarrassed me online.
Right. And it's like, you lied, you didn't show up for Christmas, they complained on Facebook. And I'm not saying I think they're in the right for complaining on Facebook either.
Not.
I don't think the family's in the right for going and trying to control the bed thing. I don't think they're right for taking it to Facebook. But I don't think you're right for lying. And I don't think you're right for going on Facebook and being like, adding to the dirty laundry of, well, you're mad I lied, well, I'm mad you did this.
Doing it more publicly. Like, you should have sent a text and been like, I saw your Facebook post. That is, like, not cool. Take that down and let's have a discussion in a private chat.
Based on the facts that we got.
Just on the facts that we got, bad apple, because just from here, it seems like she absolutely lied about her entire plans.
I'm going a whole bad batch.
Yeah, bad batch. Okay, this all wouldn't have happened if healthy communication.
Right. And healthy boundaries.
If she'd just been able to say, I am an adult. If I would like to book a hotel room,
I can do that.
I can do that. I will not be under your roof and you don't have to worry about it. And if her, family had been accepting of that, none of this would have been a problem.
It's okay. You can have your beliefs and your values, and that's totally fine. But if that's going to be the rule, I will go here. That will be the compromise. No one will be breaking your rules. You won't be uncomfortable. We'll be where we are. But it can't be both ways. Like, you can't just dictate people's personal lives like that.
No.
Like, they shouldn't have to fast track getting married just so they can stay with, like, if they're not ready for that, just so that they can spend the night with each other for the holidays. Like, no, that's dumb. No.
Yeah.
There's lack of boundaries, there's lack of communication, there's lack of respect, in my opinion.
Both sides.
Major lack of respect everywhere, and that is gross to me. Apple number 3. Am I the bad apple for asking my fiance to sleep on the couch? So I, 43 male, have a fiance, 39 female, and I also have a daughter, 16 female. The 3 of us traveled to visit my fiance's parents to have them all meet us. Last night, we got a hotel for the last night before we drove home, and my fiance and I were in the master bed, and my daughter was on the pull-out couch in the next room. Shortly after we went to bed, my daughter asked if she could sleep in my bed with me. My daughter's on the spectrum, and she has a lot of anxiety from previous trauma, and sometimes she has trouble being alone in unfamiliar places. I said absolutely, and I initially offered to go sleep on the pull-out couch with her, but she said it was very uncomfortable and she needed to sleep on a real mattress. I asked my fiance if she'd be willing to sleep on the pull-out couch for the night, and she seemed a little annoyed. I offered to get another room for us to figure something else out, but she insisted that it was okay. So my daughter and I shared the master bed, and my fiance slept on the pull-out couch. Today we got home, and my fiance seemed kind of passive-aggressive with me, and when I asked what was wrong, she said she felt completely sidelined and like she was treated with no respect or decency last night. I told her I was very sorry, but my daughter was in distress and I needed to do something. She insisted that my daughter's not a little kid and could have done something else that didn't involve sleeping in my bed with me. I told my fiance she was starting to get out of line and she needs to understand that I have an autistic daughter, and if we're gonna be together, she needs to understand stuff like this is gonna happen from time to time. My fiance got very annoyed with me and then just walked off, and so I need to know, am I the bad apple?
Not the bad apple. The second, at first, for a moment, I was like, excuse me? The 16-year-old wants to go sleep in bed with dad? What the heck is going on here? Like, she obviously is just uncomfortable with her dad sleeping in bed with another, woman. But then he said, no, it is an anxiety thing, and he made very valid points of like, she cannot sleep in unfamiliar places alone. And I get that. I always have a hard time the first night I'm sleeping in a hotel because it's a completely unfamiliar environment. And if you have, if you are artistic, if you have a, issue with new environments like that, absolutely being there with someone who is familiar and you feel safe and comfortable, I totally understand that. If your fiance cannot understand that she is going to be marrying into the family, you get a package deal. I have a bonus mother. I am very opinionated, as I've spoken, but I am especially opinionated when it comes to relationships between bonus parents and bonus children. Like, she is amazing. She is wonderful. She has always made accommodations like that for me. And that's just what you do as a good mom. If you are going to be taking on the role of this girl's mom, also too, why couldn't the fiance maybe like offer to stay in like bed with the 16-year-old? I mean, maybe the 16-year-old isn't that comfortable with the fiance.
Yeah, that's
that could have been an option. Also, dad did offer to ask the hotel if they could get another, a different room. Maybe they could have gotten a 2-queen bedroom. There's things that could have happened so the fiance didn't feel like she was being kicked out of bed and made to go sleep on the couch. Oh, so uncaring, this horrible fiance of mine. Good apple. Fiance, bad apple.
I'm actually teetering. You have a 16-year-old daughter who is on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
A major characteristic of autism is sensory issues.
Mm-hmm.
You got her a bed with a pull-out couch, knowing that she has sensory issues. I think that there was some poor planning originally. You're in a new space. There's probably going to be anxiety from being in a new place. She needs to have a bed originally. I think that if the dad planned to make sure that she had a comfortable bed, that could have eliminated a lot of problems. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the anxiety that the daughter was feeling that night came from the uncomfortability of the bed. Because even when the dad was like, I will come in your bed, and she was like, no, that is uncomfortable. I cannot stay in this bed. That's something that I feel like should have been pre-planned. That when you have a daughter with a disability, with a major sensory issue, you plan and you went in knowing that she gets the anxiety. I don't think the issue that the fiance had was about the my daughter needs me.
Mm-hmm.
It was clearly a very uncomfortable bed, that it was not planned of, is anyone who sleeps on this bed going to be uncomfortable? You plan to have someone who has sensory issues on this bed. And of course, no one goes to a hotel assuming it's gonna be really uncomfortable, right?
Well, people could make the argument that it's notorious that pull-out beds are uncomfortable. To your point with the crabapple, I have been working in hotels my whole career.
Okay.
Since about 2015, I have been working in hotels. Number one, you would be surprised at how little people travel. You are very well traveled.
Right.
I am very well traveled. A lot of people that we know are very well traveled. There are quite a number of general population who they maybe have ever stayed in hotels a handful of times.
Okay.
And even less amount of people who have booked hotels themselves, because usually they get the person who is experienced to book for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it absolutely could have been bad planning on his part that he booked a hotel with a pull-out couch. Also, there are so many different kinds of hotels.
Right.
And there's a possibility he booked a lot of hotels will do this, and I think it's shady. They will advertise a room as 2 beds, and they will not disclose the fact that it is a queen bed and a pull-out couch. They'll just say, this room sleeps up to this many people, and you have to read like the fine print.
Okay.
The fine print will say, it's a queen bed and a pull-out couch, but it's like in the bottom in like 2-point font with an asterisk. Like it's...
Okay.
So that, to me, is more nuanced. We don't know this guy's background. We don't know what his thought process was when he went into booking this hotel. Also, there's a possibility that, yes, your autistic child maybe has sensory issues, but maybe she's never had problems sleeping on certain surfaces before. So maybe he didn't know that the pull-out couch would be uncomfortable.
I more so think that planning to make sure she was comfortable, like not necessarily a mindset of, oh, this pull-out couch isn't gonna work, but more of I know she has anxiety going to new places, and I know that she has sensory issues in general, what can I do to make sure that she's as comfortable and feels safe? If he knows, if this is a common thing, like he's like, oh, my fiance must know this happens from time to time, then you plan for the worst and plan that if something like this were to happen, what plans do we have in place to make sure that everyone is still gonna get a good night's sleep that night?
Here's why I don't think he's all that terrible.
I don't think he's terrible.
But like the second that she did say the bed was uncomfortable and she didn't want to stay in it, and he asked his fiance if she'd sleep in it, he even said, like, I could go and ask the front desk if there's a different kind of room we can get. Like, he did recognize, okay, this is uncomfortable for my daughter and me to sleep on. Before I go make my fiance sleep on it, I will offer to go talk to the front desk. And she said, no, it's fine.
Well, he didn't say, I'm gonna go get us a different room. It's so hard because, like, I love that he's being super dad right now. I love that. I think that's amazing. Like, that is the kind of advocacy that his daughter needs. I just wish that he put forth that kind of attention at the beginning, because he either didn't know about the bed or he didn't think about it. But when you have that kind of disability at hand, I have a feeling that, like, you have to put forth that kind of planning.
Yeah, but again, very nuanced. Preemptively, he maybe could have done better. In the moment,
You're right.
He
Yes.
could.
Yeah, I really like how he was super dad. I really like how even when the fiance had a whole issue and was like, I was disrespected, and he was like, this is my daughter and she has special needs and I'm going to be there. And I do really like that.
The fiance could have better approached this as, hey, I, realize that I am not happy with the situation that occurred at the hotel. How about in the future we plan accordingly?
Yes.
And then you move on. You have healthy communication. It's almost like that's a theme. You have
That's
healthy
always what the issue is.
communication. And also people just hold on to things. People sit there and they expect you to be mind readers.
Yeah.
She did not want to sleep on the pull-out couch, but instead of saying, I don't want to sleep on the pull-out couch, she just went,
Okay. No, you're right. You're
But
right
babe,
about that.
Babe, be honest or take the L. Life is about learning things.
You're right.
Especially if your daughter is autistic, maybe you have avoided taking her into these new environments and new experiences, and this was unavoidable, and you just had a learning moment.
Good apple. I do think
In
that
the moment, good apple.
I think there was some good lessons that were learned about planning for the future. I do think fiance does need to understand that he was right. His daughter comes first. And sometimes when a kid, especially a kid that has special needs, is having an emergency, you do what you need to do.
It's one night, babe.
In the grand scheme of things, putting a strain on your relationship because a daughter with special needs had a need from her father in the middle of the night, is that really worth
And that's
the
your
strain?
daughter too, babe. If you're not willing to take on that commitment, I'm sorry, you probably should be marrying this guy.
Apple number 4. Am I the bad apple for giving my daughter a hotel room to herself? My dad passed away 2 weeks ago. Me, my wife Candace, my daughter 16 Shiloh, and her 2 stepsisters 19 and 17 all flew to my hometown to attend the funeral. After that, we got 2 hotel rooms, one for me and Candace and one for the girls. While I was in my room, I got a call from Shiloh at 11 p.m. sobbing and sounding like she was arguing with her stepsisters. I asked what's going on, and she told me that her stepsisters insisted she sleep on the floor. There was one large bed in the room, and there was enough space for all 3 girls to sleep in it. I asked why, and she said she didn't know. They just kept telling her to sleep on the floor. I went to go see what the issue was and talked to my stepdaughters about it. They kept talking, but no one really explained why they told Shiloh to sleep on the floor. They just kept shrugging and said, it's better this way. We're much more comfortable with her sleeping on the floor. I told Shiloh to grab her things, and when one of my stepdaughters asked where we were going, I said that I was gonna go book her a hotel room. They looked upset and didn't say anything, but must have called their mom, because she was awake when I got back, and she started arguing with me. She couldn't believe that I got Shiloh a hotel room for herself. I explained why I did it, but Candace said that I was wasting money and that Shiloh should have just sucked it up for one night on the floor. I called Candace unreasonable for saying this, but she told me that I was showing the girls that I'm playing favorites and made my stepdaughters share a room while I gave my daughter an entire room to herself. we went home and Candace is still bringing it up, saying that I mishandled this. She even pointed out how my stepdaughters are upset since they're not speaking to me, but I didn't know what else to do. So, am I the bad apple? No.
So, is your wife's name Lady Tremaine, and are your stepdaughters Anastasia and Drusilla? And by the way, did they want his daughter to go sleep by the fireplace on the floor?
To have cinder.
To have some cinders? Yeah, to get covered in soot and cinders?
I like this theme that we have going right now.
Because that's what this absolutely feels like.
I cannot believe that the stepmom was like, she gets sucked up for one night. This is Shiloh's grandfather, just passed away. And the stepsisters are like, you can sleep on the floor. And the stepmom is egging it on? What?
Going back to Mr. Planning the whole situation, you know, just like we had with last story, like
right, one
bed for three girls. And you thought, oh, they can all share one bed.
And in the comments it says, because I did look, stepmom bought the room.
Oh, so stepmom bought the room and thought it would just be, and then told her husband, oh, all three girls can share a bed. It's fine. That won't cause any
because
issues.
the husband's dad just died, so the wife was like, I got you, babe. You're grieving. I'm gonna get you this hotel room.
So
got one room with one bed for all three girls, and then was like, I know her grandpa just died, but she can sleep on the floor.
And then was like, how dare you correct my mistake and spend money to fix the problem I created.
You're a terrible husband. Lady Tremaine.
Lady Tremaine. Like, not the bad apple. Wow.
I'm floored.
Literally pulled this straight out of, like, this is modern day Cinderella.
And what's wild is we've had a lot of stories in the past about bonus parents and bonus kids, and a lot of it usually has to do with like college tuition and things like that.
I've seen those.
But I think I hate this mom the most.
This is a stepmom. This is not a bonus mom.
Yes.
So fun fact about me, I have a stepmother who I call my bonus mother, majorly thanks to fairy tales demonizing stepmothers. So that's why I call her my bonus mom.
I like that.
Stepmom.
Bonus moms are awesome.
Yeah, because they're
stepmoms
a bonus to your life.
Not. Like the lack of empathy for, I know your dad just died, your grandpa, I'm making your daughter sleep on the floor, you just went and buried your grandfather, but you're gonna sleep on the floor, you're fine, you can suck it up, and then how dare you try to make sure that your grieving family is comfortable.
And also, a hotel floor, number one, either that's hard
disgusting.
floor, and it's uncomfortable as heck, but probably decently clean because it's hardwood, or it's carpet.
And it's nasty. That's disgusting. Yeah, no. I'm going good apple on this, Dad.
Even if you put down a sheet and a blanket, even if you try to put like a ton of layers.
It's gross. It's gross. It's nasty.
Your body's on the ground.
Good apple.
Good apple. Good dad.
Yes, Dad.
Yes, Dad.
W Dad.
W Dad.
So to tally it up, I did 2 good apples, a bad apple, and just a whole bad batch.
Mm-hmm.
You got the same thing, right?
I think pretty much.
Heck yeah.
Most things we discussed pretty well, and we found different
Yeah.
points of view and sides to things. So,
Right.
yeah.
Does your votes look similar to ours? Do they look different? Maybe you thought of a perspective that we haven't. Maybe you have experiences that we never have, whether you have had step parents that have done similar things, or if you have been in any of these situations, you know, maybe there's some kind of lens that we're not looking through. So definitely let us know in the comments. We love to hear what you guys think, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course!
This was fun. This was really fun.
I'm glad.
It's fun to be opinionated.
I don't know if you can tell where we are. No idea. It's not like our clothes mean anything today.
Your friendly neighborhood cast member just might have gotten a lovely room at a lovely Disney resort.
I can see the castle from here. But anyways, because we are in the most magical place on earth, I hope that you guys have the absolute most magical day, magical week ever, because you guys deserve it. Thank you so much for joining us today. I love you guys so much, and I hope to see you guys next week. Bye, my lovelies.
Bye.